Hey, good morning. Today I am making keto almond flour cookies. Diet, weight, those are all things that I'm over 40, so those things you got to pay attention to them. And a couple things that I do, I exercise regularly. Watch what I eat, and then I had been overweight at one time, and I did a keto or very low carb diet to lose some weight. And now, I'm thinking about competing in a martial arts competition, and I'll have to make weight, so I'm gonna have to lose about 10 pounds. So I'm gonna start watching my diet a little bit more. Fingers crossed. It's a difficult thing to do when you get into bad habits. They're hard to break. But yeah, today I'm making keto almond flour cookies. The ingredients are almond flour, and I also have some coconut flour here. So I might add a little bit of coconut flour, baking soda, 2 eggs, stevia, sugar. I'm gonna add a couple extra things, some vanilla extract, a little bit of almond extract, and then some sour cream as well. So first, I greased the pan with this organic coconut oil. I'm gonna grab the recipe on the phone and just double check from time to time. So I'm gonna preheat the oven on convection bake to 350. Now, the first thing we do is we want to get a mixing bowl. And I want to make sure I got the right amount of butter. So it's going to be 5 tablespoons of butter. I might add a little bit more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm actually going to add 6 here. The recipe calls for 5, I'm adding 6. So this is, our channel is Bounty on a Budget, and this is budget friendly. If you go to Target or Walmart, any store nowadays, like TJ Maxx, keto is being marketed. Like they're using that as a marketing. So, and I know the cost of the ingredients they're making a pretty big margin off of selling keto cookies. People, it's something people want, so they're paying, you'd pay double what you'd pay for normal cookies for keto cookies. But you can make them at home for a fraction of the cost. So I'm preheating 6 tablespoons of butter, and then I'm gonna measure out almond flour. So let me see, it is 2 cups of almond flour. And FYI, I might not have enough almond flour, so I might add some. I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut flour, and coconut flour is equal to double the amount of almond flour. So a half cup of coconut flour is worth 1 cup of almond flour. The butter. Now, I know people will do this differently. I'm just doing what works for me. Some people, I don't have a fancy blender, so I'm just gonna use some good old-fashioned elbow grease here. But I know you don't want the eggs to cook, so I'm gonna try to make sure they don't get too hot with this butter. All right. 2 eggs. My wife just cleaned the kitchen, so I'm going to try not to get too crazy with that, just for her. All right, now I'm going to measure out 2 cups of almond flour, possibly with some coconut flour, and we're using the Kirkland brand almond flour. I've found that, we got it at Kirkland is Costco brand. and it is much more affordable than if you buy almond flour at Jewel or one of the other stores. So it's 1 cup of almond flour, and this is blanched almond flour. I don't know if that makes a difference. And we might have just enough for 2 cups. Let me see. Almost 2 cups. So what I'm going to do is add a tablespoon-ish of coconut flour. Just a little bit. Just to give it a... Yeah, so just that much. And this, the coconut flour is from, it's a great value brand from Walmart. We've had it for a while. Now, this other stuff, so I'm going to measure out the stevia. So, 1 teaspoon of stevia equals 2 teaspoons of sugar, so it's basically twice as sweet. Mix well with the pork. I'm going to end up cleaning the stove at the end of this, but that's okay. Now, I was hoping by the time I get it all set up that we'd be able to put it on the sheet and throw it in the oven. And you got to watch out for the baking time with this too. I've almost burnt a couple batches of these. So, see that? Looking good, huh? Now, you know, I did eyeball the, I eyeballed the baking soda, and, oh yeah, I wanted to tell you what the difference between baking soda and baking powder is. So baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, and baking powder is sodium carbonate. So, bi versus regular. Carbonate, bicarbonate. Okay, I'm going to put a tiny bit of coconut flour on my fingers so the dough doesn't stick when I'm doing this. And you know what I could do as well is grab a spoon, which I'm going to do. I may need another baking sheet too, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So 4, 5, 7, 8, oh, 7, I'm sorry. 8, 9, 10. So total cost, I'd say, you know, there's probably about $30 worth of ingredients per 5 batches of cookies. Maybe 6 you'll get out of there, but yeah, I mean, every batch is about $5. And if you buy a box of cookies, I mean, you'll get about 3 boxes maybe even 4 boxes of cookies worth. So you're saving about 3 to 4 times rather than just buy the keto cookies. So we got one sheet here. I'm gonna have to use another one. We could use some new cookie sheets. Note to self, but these work, so we're just gonna use those. So again, I'm taking this coconut oil to grease the sheet. I'm gonna try to just use this middle space down here. And then I'm gonna start plopping the cookies down. Uno. Dos. Now the first time I made these, I kind of rushed through them, and they were good. They're a little bit dry. That's why I started adding egg. Some recipes don't call for egg. Some call for 1 egg. You can modify this too. You can modify the amount of eggs and maybe go up or down the amount of flour and butter. I added a little bit more butter. Some recipes call for a stick of butter. All depends on the type of cookies you want, so you'll have to experiment and see what works for you. So I'm going to split that remaining dough up there. And then we got 6 cookies on the other sheet. A little bit of dough left. A little bit of dough never hurt anybody. Alright. There it is. Well, we're almost up to 350 on the oven, so I'm going to start cleaning up here. I'm going to try to leave it like I found it. The rule of the kitchen, leave things like you found them, right? It's a hard lesson to learn. Now I'm 10 degrees away. There she goes. Alright. Chuck it in the oven. 1, 2. I'm just gonna double check on my phone for what kind of cook times we're looking for, but I'd go a couple minutes less than what it says to check on them. So it says 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it at 12. And maybe we'll need to add a couple extra minutes. But in the meantime, we can chat, and I will clean up around here. So yeah, we're filming this on the GoPro camera, the GoPro 11. And you know, it seems like a great camera so far. The one thing that I don't like about it is, I mean, if you're doing really high-res videos, the battery wears out pretty quickly. So we'll have to experiment. You know, for some things, I think high-res video is important. Other things not. I mean, life is just constantly experimenting with things that work and don't work, and trying to figure out what's the best for you. Now, I can smell the coconut in those flowers. It's pretty good, actually. I'll use a Clorox wipe. Yes, sir. Trying to leave the kitchen like we found it. Our kitchen area is pretty busy, so keeping it clean is pretty important. Yeah, you know, I think this generation has kind of lost the art of baking at home. You know, you can get cookies are pretty cheap and readily available, and like baked goods. So yeah, people just kind of lost that. But honestly, I think fresh baked cookies are like some of the best things in the world. One of the big bonuses of life. This reminds me, I mean, that was always a very special time and during childhood when your mom baked fresh cookies. And that was usually the only time you got cookies. Yeah, and if you have experience, or if you've tried out some keto, low carb cookie recipes, or even normal cookie recipes, or even like keto, it seems like the cookie recipe kind of goes hand in hand with pancake recipes and cake recipes. There's all sorts of low carb or even gluten. I think I believe these are gluten free. I'd have to double check on that because that's not why I'm making them with almond flour. I'm making them with almond flour because they're lower in carbs. It's kind of funny that when I was a teenager, we jogged a lot, and we were always trying to stay fit as a teenager and young adult. And the idea back then, or what was pushed on us by the experts, was weight gain was caused by high fat foods. And now, I mean, through experience and just medical research, I mean, fat is not the culprit behind weight gain. It's sugar, high processed sugary foods, high carbs cause you to turns into, like, high carb foods turn into sugar, and the sugar gets stored as fat. And for me, like, a lot of times higher fat foods will make you feel more satiated, more full at the end of the meal. Alright, so hopefully I'm leaving this kitchen like I found it, but we will see. I got about 6 minutes left on the oven, and I'll come back and show you what they look like. Actually, why don't we take a quick peek and then I'll come back.
That's what they're looking like right now. That's it.
Alright. See you soon. I grabbed a couple off here. Delicious. Very good. I think one thing I'll do next time is add a little bit less of the sweetener. But otherwise, they're delicious. So, again, you do not have to deprive yourself of keto cookies in order to save money. Keto can be budget friendly. So, that's all for today. If you like this channel, like and subscribe, and leave your feedback, and I'll see you next time.